Hi, this is Dave Kale, and welcome to this Christian Business Insights podcast. You know, I've been a Christian since I was 24 years old, and I've been in business that whole time as a professional speaker, author, and consultant. I've authored 13 books presented in 47 states and 11 countries, and have personally and contractually worked with over 500 different organizations. It's a lot of business involvement. And over that time, you know, I've picked up some knowledge and some wisdom that the Lord has given to me, and now I'm sharing it with you. So you're going to hear some really practical things as well as some unconventional perspectives. Much of what you'll hear in this podcast, you will never hear repeated from the pulpit. So if you got an open mind and you want to build your business, this is the place. Everything I'm doing is designed to help you build businesses that excel in the field and impact the world for the kingdom. I hope you're educated, inspired, and motivated. Here we go. Hi, this is Dave, and I'd like to talk to you today about freedom and boundaries within your organization. You know, we've all heard this refrain, quote, "To run a successful business, you need to put the right people in the right seats on the bus." Have you heard that? And, you know, it's pretty popular thought these days. I've got a little bit of a problem with it. You know, that bit of conventional wisdom is routinely followed by advice about how to find, how to onboard, how to retain, how to engage good people. And typically, the thrust of the advice is that once you get the right people, you can allow them the freedom to contribute pretty much as they see fit. Now, while this might be good advice in some circumstances, it ignores a major part of the equation. Before you can put the right people in the right seats on the bus, you need to have the bus. And not just any bus. The bus should be well designed. It should be well built. It should have a powerful engine. It should have an appropriate transmission. It should have good brakes. It should have good tires. It should have sufficient and comfortable seats. In our analogy here, the bus refers to the systems and structures in the business. Systems are just as important, if not more so, than the people. Let me repeat that because a lot of people don't believe it, and I'm going to make the case for it. Systems are just as important, if not more so, than the people. People may come and go, and a business built on people is always vulnerable to the ebb and flow of personal interests, personal motivations. Something happens in the life of one of your key people and they're gone. And a business built on that is vulnerable. On the other hand, an organization with well-designed and regularly maintained systems can easily weather an ineffective person or two. A lousy system can ruin the best of people, while a great system brings out the best in people. Now, I'm using the word systems here to refer to the overall design of the flow of work within a business. And I'm using the word structure to refer to the rules, you know, the spoken and unspoken, the principles, the processes, the practices, and the tools that dictate individual behavior within the system. There is something about systems and structure that provides boundaries and encourages people to achieve beyond their routine performance levels. McDonald's, for example, can run thousands of restaurants with entry-level people because it has refined its systems. People may come and go, but the business remains and prospers because it's built on effective systems. You know, one of the things I've learned in my 30-plus years of business consulting and training is this: when you change the structure of an organization, you change the behavior of the people who operate within that structure. This is so important. Let me repeat it. When you change the structure of an organization, you change the behavior of the people who operate within that structure. Now, let me give you an example of the truth of that from both a macro and a micro perspective. On the macro side, you know, in the latter half of the 20th century was characterized by the Cold War. That was a struggle between the USSR and the USA, basically for world supremacy. These two entities were roughly equal in the assets with which they started, about the same number of people, the same distribution of skills and gifts among the people, and roughly equal natural resources. Yet one of the entities, in this case the USA, dramatically outperformed the other. In terms of economic performance, in terms of human expression, in terms of personal development, there was really no comparison. And what was the difference? The difference was the system. You know, the rules were different in the USSR than they were for the USSA. The systems were different. And since the systems were different, the people responded to those systems. One system provided a huge output, the other not so much. The people were the same, natural resources were the same, the difference was the systems. Now that's on a macro, large scale. Here's a micro perspective on the same phenomena. And again, I saw the same thing in my home. So for years, my wife and I were foster parents, and over the years we had 19 foster children of various ages and sexes and races and physical and emotional disabilities. And I would watch as my wife would acclimate a new foster child to our home. My wife would show him or her the bedroom and proclaim, "This is your bedroom. You will sleep in the bed, not on the floor, not in the closet, on the bed." And then the bathroom. Now she would say, "This is the bathroom, and here's your toothbrush. You will brush your teeth, you will wash your face every morning before you greet the rest of the family." And then the dining room table. "This is where we eat. We sit here and eat when the family eats. You will use a fork and a spoon and a knife, and you'll be part of the family meals." And I would watch as this structure came down on these kids. Wham! And typically, they'd test the structure for a day or two, and then they'd figure out that this was going to be the way it is, and they would mold their behavior to fit the structure. And within a week or two, they began to prosper under the new structure. See, the principle was confirmed. Change the structure, and you change the behavior of the people who operate within that structure. As a sales consultant, I have often come into sales organizations and made significant changes in the results and never even met the salespeople. And you think, well, how can that be? Well, we changed the structure. We changed the compensation plan. We changed the territory alignment and responsibilities. We changed the job descriptions, what we expect the salespeople to do. And all those are part of the structure. And when we change the structure, here we go again. When we change the structure, you change the behavior of the people who operate within that structure. See, when we focus on people and we neglect the structure, we do all the people a disservice. An effective system builds a structure that provides both freedom for people to exercise their skills and gifts and boundaries that contain and focus that energy and expertise. I'm going to repeat that. An effective system builds a structure that provides both freedom for people to exercise their skills and their gifts and boundaries that contain and focus that energy and expertise. Freedom without boundaries leads to anarchy. Group energy becomes dissipated, individual behavior ultimately becomes self-serving. On the other hand, boundaries without freedom stifle individual initiative. Personal growth is stunted, and morale often decays to depression and resignation. Effective organizations implement well-designed systems, and that means a balance of freedom and boundaries for the individuals who work within those systems. The systems comes first, and they help attract good people. Once a good system is put in place, then the people can be put in the right places, provided with freedom and boundaries, and provided the opportunity to excel within those boundaries with the freedom that those boundaries provide. Now, before you can put the right people in the right seats, that bus must be well designed and operating efficiently, and that's the systems. This should come as no surprise to the educated business leader Those conversant with the Bible, for example, will recall in the very early chapters of the book of Genesis when God, the systems designer, provided freedom and boundaries to Adam and Eve. He said, quote, "You're free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil." Freedom and boundaries. There it is. At the beginning of recorded history, an entity far wiser than we, ordering human behavior around the notion of freedom and boundaries. We would all do well to consider that model and mimic it in the organizations we influence. Okay? Hey, before I go, I want to ask you a favor, and that's this. We provide these podcasts without asking for any fee or donation or anything like that. They're all free, and we do that because we hope to influence and impact lots of people. Would you help with that project? Would you write a positive review in whatever channel you're listening to this, whether it's Google Play or Apple or whatever it is? Would you write a positive review, and then would you forward this podcast to others that you know may enjoy it? And let's see if we can't expand the circulation and the influence of these podcasts. Okay, I'd appreciate it. I need your help with that. Thanks. Hey, we're done now. Bye-bye.